Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Board Game Barbecue podcast. I'm your host, Jules, today, and I've got two lovely people joining me for this episode. The first of which is a man who's we consider the workhorse of the podcast, but he doesn't actually get paid, so maybe he's a slave. It's Adrian. How are you doing,
Hey,
Adrian?
Jules, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. I'm just a horse. No work, just horsing.
Horsing around.
Horsing around.
And we've also got a lady who says that beige is the new black. It's Sarah.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing
Hey,
good.
Jules, how you doing?
On your beige background as well.
The background is beige.
I know.
And you're
Hi,
wearing
beige.
black. There you go. Oh, awesome. Well, tonight, this is our part 2 of our top 10 of all time. So we're each going to go through all of our lists, our top 10 favorite games of all time. And later on, once we've done that, we're going to go into the board game bracket, and then we'll talk about our oaths. So there's quite a lot to get through. Obviously, 30 games we got to mention and have a small discussion on. The last episode ran for quite a long time, so we'll see how we go. But before we kick into that, we need to talk about some honorable mentions for our list that didn't quite make the cut. So let's kick it off to you, Adrian. What are a couple of your honorable mentions?
Well, my honorable mentions are a couple of games. One's a small party game, I'd say, like a small party game, and that's Skull.
Oh, yeah.
I love that game. It's so good, and one of the main reasons why I picked it is because it's a game that anybody can play. Like, we have barbecues and stuff, and I have a lot of friends that don't play any games, and I love the fact that I can pull that out, and within less than a minute, everybody can play it. It's just great. And people always say, oh, you could just use beer coasters for this. And I think that's where it came from. So
yeah, I think so.
When you turn around and say, oh, that's where it came from, like, that's kind of cool and part of it. And yeah, I've never had a bad game of it as well. Like, it's always been fun. It's always been a good laugh. So yeah, there was that. That's just one of the party games. And then also, Mitch invited me to play a game with him a long time ago, way back when the podcast, I don't even know if we'd recorded an episode at this point, to play Fleet the Dice game. And after I played it, I really enjoyed it. When I thought that I would just think it was okay, it had like a bit of like an engine builder kind of feel to it when you're collecting the fish on the trawlers, and then you can do other things to get combos and stuff. And I love all that. And it definitely inspired me to look into getting some roll and writes for Christmas. Hey, Santa, what's up? Hope you're hearing this. Get it sorted.
It's not. I'm yet to play this with Mitch because he raves about it. And then I was listening to Shut Up and Sit Down's latest podcast today, and they reviewed Fleet the Dice game and loved it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I really got to play this now.
They know what they're talking about. Mitch doesn't. They do. So it's fair enough.
It's one of those games, like, I've heard Mitch talk about it, and he's quite critical of games as well. And I've heard Mitch talking about
grumpy old man.
Yeah, and I've heard him talking about this game, and I'm like, what is so great about this game? Like, it doesn't, like, the theme is not super exciting.
No.
But yeah, I guess I have to try it now. Everyone loves this game.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that was one of the things that was like, oh, you're like a fishing trawler and you roll these dice and you do this on a sheet. I'll send you the sheet as a PDF. And I was like, it sounds intense. Like, I don't know.
Filling up forms.
It was really good. I was like, oh yeah, I get 2 of these and then 7 of those, and then I can get this and then that combo so that, and that gets me 10 victory points. And you're just off, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really weird because it's described as like a heavier roll and write, but I haven't played any to judge it by. Like, so to me, like, it didn't feel difficult. So when he said, oh, it's quite a heavy roll and write, even that at the time was like, oh, heavy, like maybe I can't do it. Maybe I don't know what's going to happen. But it's really very simple, but it's great. It works really well. So,
well, according to Shut Up and Sit Down, you've really started with the cream of the crop on that one.
Yeah, that's what Mitch also says, which is
all downhill from there.
That's right. Pretty much.
Sarah, what are a couple of your honorable mentions?
Yeah, so this might surprise some people listening because it wasn't in my top 10. And that I've got 2, actually. Sorry. My first one is going to surprise people, I think. It's Terra Mystica.
Whoa.
I know. But I think, look, it's been in my top 10 for many, many years. And I think it's just the fact that I've played it so much. It might have lost a little bit of its shine compared to some other stuff that I haven't delved into quite as far. It's a funny game. It's it's a wonderful game. It's sort of, I've been told that Gaia Project, I haven't played Gaia Project yet, but I've been told that Gaia Project is actually a little bit better. So I think it might have, kind of been refined a bit better. And so I need to try that one. But that's Terra Mystica. And the other one is Seasons. So
you love Seasons.
I do love Seasons. And again, I do play it a lot on BGA still, and I played it in real life the other day as well. It's one I absolutely keep going back to, but I think it's lost a little bit of its shine for me. Maybe I'm, after hundreds and hundreds of plays, and then a new shiny thing comes along, I'm like, oh, hang on, maybe this is better. But it's still great. It's still a great tableau building game, and that, it just does that so well. And the card combos are great. It's still up there really high for me, but it just didn't get into the top 10.
Wow, there you go. Well, for me, I'll mention a few games. The first one is On Mars, which completely blew my mind when I played it the first time. And I love it for a couple of reasons. One is, ever since playing that game, no other game I've learnt to date has felt hard. It's felt like, oh, that's it?
The On Mars effect.
That's right, the On Mars effect. And I honestly recommend people just diving into that game just so you get the feel of what a true heavy game feels like. So then you go, everything feels just a bit easier from then on. It's just, it's so good. But the reason it's not in my top 10 is because I just haven't played it enough yet to really dive deep into that game and know if it truly can stand up to the other games I love. The other one that's in the same camp as On Mars is Heroes of Land, Air and Sea. Again, a game I've loved every time I've played it, but I haven't played it many times. And the few times I have played it have been solo, and I thought it was a bit, it just didn't stand up really to how it plays with other people. It feels like you're fighting a dumb robot that's moving away from you instead of going towards you and fighting. So, I think it's a phenomenal game. In fact, probably the best 4X game I've played. But again, haven't played it enough to really put it into that top 10 status for me. And the last one that might shock a few people is a game I have played a lot and I really love it, and that's Silk. And I just, when I debated putting it in there, but it just slipped under a few other games. But I think it's so good. I love it so much. But unfortunately, I just I put the Shepherd on that one and bumped it out of my list. So that's that. All right. Well, now that we've got that bit out of the way, let's jump into our top 10. We'll start with you, Adrian.
Number 10.
So my top 10 list is mainly comprised of my favorite games, but my favorite games for many different reasons. Whether I'm playing them, on my own or with my group or with just me and MJ or with Finn, none of my situation is ever going to be the same. Do you know what I mean? And with that, my first game, number 10, is actually Zombie Kids Evolution.
Whoa.
And it's just I can't say it enough, but just to see his face figuring it out and putting it together there's nothing like it. It makes that game special. And when we all have our Pandemic legacies and our Clank legacies and our Aeon's End legacies, that's what he has as a 5-year-old. That's his legacy game. And that's like a memory for life. For us, we have these other big epic memories where everyone refers to Pandemic Legacy Season 1. They all say, oh, I remember that. That's a memory. That was an experience. Whereas this is the same experience for him, and being his dad and seeing it through that, seeing it through his eyes and sharing it with him is really, really, really cool. And they did a really good job of making that game not too hard, but also build on something from a foundation, which is what you get. You start with a very basic foundation, a very basic game, and it builds slowly and it doesn't overwhelm a small kid. So,
nice.
Fantastic game.
Good stuff. All right, Sarah, you're number 10.
My number 10, I think people will think this one would be a bit higher on my list. It's one that caused a bit of an uproar in the bracket because it was kicked out and it shouldn't have been kicked out.
Uh-oh.
And I think Def's going to agree with me on that one. But I've got the box.
Ooh.
Ooh, the big reveal.
Yeah.
Oh, brass.
Birmingham. Nice.
Wow.
I
Number
know.
10, really?
Number 10. I think, so I had it elsewhere. It wasn't at my house for a long time. I took it to my partner's parents' place and it was there for months. So I haven't had a chance to like play it for a long time. Hang on, I've got a cold.
You all right?
Me and my English nose. Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to play Brass Birmingham for quite a few months. So that probably made it, it sort of pushed it down the list a little bit because I really need to get back and deep dive into it. But I absolutely love the game so much. It's like for a Euro game, there's a lot of interaction there in terms of when you've got a building on the board, people can use your things. They can use your iron, and that might be really annoying for you at the time because you wanted to use it for something, but you flip the tile when they've used it. You get to flip the tile, and then you've got income, then you've got points. It's actually really good. So there's this positive interaction as well as some like blocking as well. And I really like it. Like I used to be a Eurogamer that preferred to just like do my own thing and just basically just try and beat my own score. But in Brass, I really appreciate the player interaction. It's more interesting. And there's just so much to unlock there. And I really can't wait to play it a whole bunch more.
Yeah, for me, like I have a background and history of loving war games and not playing many Euro games, but discovering Brass Birmingham and having that really fantastic player interaction, man, that was a good introduction into Euro. And I've played others since, but that to me is the best. It
is that nice, like that cushy middle ground there where it's like it's Euro-y and it's crunchy and it's brain burny, but it's also got, a bit of player interaction. And one other thing I really like in games is interesting like card play, and in this using your cards for different things.
Yes.
And it has that sort of that feel that like Bruges or Lisboa has. You only play you play a couple of cards on your turn, and you can use them to different effect, and it's really interesting. So it seems almost simple too. When you've played it a few times, it's simple to play but really deep.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I still haven't played it. I will get round to it. It's just been so busy.
Oh, I think you'll love it, Adrian.
I'm not going to buy it. I can't buy any more games before Christmas because otherwise Santa will get me 2 of the same game, and then there's going to be a big trouble.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, my number 10 is Quacks of Quedlinburg. We've talked about this ad nauseum on the podcast. I love it a lot. It's so good. I mean, there's not much else we can really say about it, but I'll just share my most recent experience playing Quacks was just this past weekend. Took it to a family that have, played some board games before. They've done Monopoly and Risk and other, Uno and things like that. But this was their first introduction to a true board game, or a modern board game. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
and
a good board game.
I couldn't
resist it.
An alternative board game. I don't know. There must be a way to phrase it.
That's it. But the parents loved it. They just couldn't get enough of it, and the kids went bananas for it. I was a little bit worried. They were a bit younger, so I teamed up with one of the kids, and the mum teamed up with one of the other kids, and they just had the best time pulling it out of the bag and going, yes! Like pulling the 6 pumpkin out or whatever. It was just such a good time. For me, while Quacks, some people argue Quacks is a lot of luck. Yeah, I can debate that another time, sure. But for me, Quacks just creates so many great moments, memorable moments that I love, and some of those memorable moments are fantastic. Someone pulling off the combo they were trying to get all game, and some of them are pulling all the white cherry bombs on the very last round. It's just
I've had that happen.
It's got it all. I just love it so much. So.
I definitely pull everything out that I can, then see the MJ's in front, and then I egg Finley on to keep pulling them out of the bag until he busts.
So good. Yeah, so that's me. That's my number 10, Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Number 9.
Okay, number 9, Adrian.
Number 9. I'm just going to tab back to my list because I've got the cameras on full screen. Come on.
He's changing the order now.
This is another one where it was similar situation way early back in the day when we first started this thing, like 7 months ago. And I'm the opposite to Jules. Like, I probably have a track record of hating confrontational games. Like, I play a lot of co-op games. I don't like confrontational games. I don't like area control games. I don't like having to get an army and attack everybody. It's just not my thing. But I found a War of Whispers fascinating.
Oh, yes.
Good one.
It was so good. And I liked that, you place those people around the actions around the edge of the board, kind of, and it felt a bit worker place me kind of thing to me anyway. But, placing them out and setting up your moves and, the way that it goes around that circle and stuff and the different knock-on effects. Like, I haven't played that game for a long time, and my memory's shocking, and I remember that.
But it's stuck. That's awesome.
It's so good. Like, it's amazing. And, like, I just found it really cool that we could all control it. No one controlled an army. We controlled the whole board. Mm-hmm. So you didn't feel too devastated when things are getting attacked because it didn't really it might not have affected you that much because that might have been the person that was in your third position and someone thinks it's in your first. So they try and destroy it, but they're actually just not really doing very much at all. Like, it's great. Like, I just loved it. And it's one that I definitely want to get. Even though I don't really like any kind of war games. So that was why it shocked me. Like, I was blown away when I played it. I was just like, I can't believe that it was so good. And I spoke about it for a couple of days. Like, not on the podcast, but just in the group and to my partner here. So yeah, it was just awesome. Great game.
Well,
really, really.
The second edition printing should be coming out early next year, so keep an eye out for it. It's
I
so
definitely
good.
will.
So good. Oh, that made my day, Adrian.
I know. Yeah. It was. I knew you'd like things to say that. I wasn't trying to do it, but it was just a fact. Like, I can't help it. It's a fact. So
there you go. You've heard it here.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, what's your number 9?
Okay, I've got another box. Okay, so this game, one of our guests talked about with me. Like, it was my sizzle, and I spoke about it with a guest, and that guest said that they found it too tight, and so I was like, try it again. Do you guys remember that at all? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm racking my brain. I can't quite remember.
It was Isaac Childress, and the game was
Cooper Island.
Cooper Island.
Now, instantly.
Yes. So this game, and I could see where he was coming from, by the way, because this game is really tight. And the first time I played it, I think I got 11 points, which is not a lot. Let me tell you, it's not a lot. And I'm like, how does this work? Because it's a worker placement game, and you have to unlock your workers. And you don't unlock the workers until you do these specific things. And those things are hard to do. So it's like, why can I not get my other workers? And then, so you only start with like 2 workers. So it's a very quick game. It's a heavy Euro, but it's very quick because you only have 2 workers at the start, and you only doing 2 actions in the first round. And then maybe if you're lucky, round 2, you can get 3 actions. But the game is so beautiful. Like, the design is just so well done, and I just love unlocking it. And the great thing about it that's really interesting is that instead of like expanding your civilization over this island, you build it up. And the more you build it up, you get more resources, and you can all of a sudden see how the game is unlocking in front of your very eyes, and you're like, oh, I can actually get heaps of gold. I can do heaps this turn. And that to me is incredibly satisfying. So yeah, and it's also got a little bit of tableau building in it. It's got that tile placement because you're building up your island. It's got a bit of everything, and it just, the design is just so good. If you haven't tried it and you like heavy games, you should absolutely check it out. So that's Cooper Island, my number 9.
There you go. All right. Well, Adrian, you've made my day. So I think it's time I make your day. And my number 9 is Barrage.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Yeah.
I was actually about to ask you if you'd even played it before we started because I couldn't remember.
Yeah. I've played it a couple of times now. And this is the only game in my list where I've only played it in digital format. I haven't actually played a physical copy yet. And I've heard good things about its board presence, and it looks really great. The artwork's fantastic. So, yeah, Barrage was so good. Really blew my mind the first time, how it all clicks together so smoothly. For those, surely there's no one on planet Earth that doesn't know about Barrage now. I think you taught the whole population on PGG Con, Adrian.
I tried. I ran 7 games over 3 days.
You did well. Wow.
That's insane.
And I will tell you now, just a little secret, I fell asleep during one of them. For like an hour.
Oh, wow.
There was a lovely group and they're very forgiving. So it's okay.
For the one person living under a rock, Barrage is it's set in a dystopian world where you're trying to generate energy using hydroelectricity. So you're building dams and pushing water through conduits into power plants to generate electricity. And you're fulfilling contracts and, upgrading your sort of technologies and how you can build things. And it's just so well done. For me, I guess the 2 things that really made me fall in love with the game straight away was just the mechanic of when you build something, you've got that wheel that you lock the resources in and don't become available until they make a full circle. I thought that was so cool and a really challenging puzzle within the game to try and improve your efficiencies to get those resources flowing nicely. And the other thing was just the ability to pump water away from other people.
Yeah. I knew you'd love that.
No surprises there.
Like Evil Jules comes out.
Like that. I knew it. I was like...
I think it's so clever. And having to...
or even just running their conduit.
Just
doing that.
Actually, I haven't... done that in the games I've played yet, but I can totally see myself doing it. But it's
I thought that'd be your favorite bit, but yeah, I can see what you mean.
I just love, for me, I love looking ahead and seeing the water droplets that are going to come down in the subsequent rounds and planning ahead for those and building the infrastructure you need to sort of push some of that your way and things. So yeah, Barrage, totally deserving to get into my top 10, and I can't wait to own it at some point. It will definitely be a purchase.
And to think that I thought you hated it that first time we played it.
No, I was just frustrated because I didn't quite understand the game, and it was really hard to see some of the symbols on Tabletop Simulator. Me misunderstanding what they meant. But
it has a few issues, that mod for sure. It needs even the instruction manual I don't think is the right one. The symbology doesn't match up with what you're looking for, especially compared to my instructions that I have. And the instruction manual is a bit of a beef to get through. So.
But the second time I played it, no dramas because, those misunderstandings were corrected the first time and it went super smooth and, such a good experience. All right.
Number 2. What do you mean I'm not a number 2? Oh, poop. Oh, okay. Number 8 then.
Adrian, what's number 8 for you?
Number 8 for me is a game that before I was into the hobby, I had seen on shelves and I never, ever envisaged buying it or playing it. I always saw it and always thought, wow, that looks awesome. No idea even that it was a game, to be honest. And then I played it online and I really enjoyed the experience. And then I played it in person and I enjoyed that experience way more. And I would love to play it again. I don't necessarily think I would own a copy because I know someone that has a very, very, very pimped out copy that's moving to Brisbane.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if this made his day as well. But yeah, it's Scythe. I was blown away at how good that was. I love, I don't necessarily understand the whole trying to make people scared of me because I don't do the area control thing. But I also like the fact that I can just do my resource building that I like to do in the corner. I'll like build all my resources.
I like it when you do that because then I can
Turtle
take it all.
Yeah, but then they attack me and then they lose popularity and I gain popularity. So like I kind of win in a different way. And I like that it has them different avenues to the game where you can win through these different ways. And yeah, just visually amazing. The board presence is amazing. Like, and I didn't play the pimped out version. I played the standard, just the standard, and we played it 5-player. I didn't do the campaign, and that really interests me. Like, it concerns me because I don't want to play it and then be like, oh well, that's finished, and then it never gets played again. Do you know what I mean? That does worry me a little bit. But I would love to play it multiple times and get a bit more used to how it works and actually try and win a game, which would be a very big achievement. But like I thought it was great. And I remember seeing that before I ever bought my first hobby board game on a shelf, and I was like, wow, that looks so cool. Those mechs and that mixture of artwork.
Nice.
Yeah. And I actually love that kind of stuff. And there's old vintage Star Wars, old vintage cottages in the UK that someone has drawn like 80 walkers over and stuff, to make that mix of art. And I love that style. And seeing that was just cool. It stunned me from the box. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. I bet you didn't expect that, did you?
No, I didn't see that one coming. Not at all.
Yeah, I liked it. I really, 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 really enjoyed playing it. So I would love to play it again. And I can't really think of another one that does that better.
Okay.
So that's why I put it there. So
good
I've
stuff.
never played it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Don't tell Steve.
I don't necessarily think
he's already driving down to Sydney now to set this up.
Gotta fix this.
I think between all of us, I think that is it just Steve and Mitch that might have a copy? Because Connor doesn't.
No, Def I think has a copy.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So it's 3 out of 9. Like, yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, Sarah, number 8.
Okay, so this game goes on and off my list of top 10 games.
Oh, okay.
And that's a really interesting statement there. But the reason it is because I don't actually own the game. So I think, so it's one I don't get to play very often. But like every time I play it, I go, oh, it's going back on my top 10 list.
Okay.
So it is an amazing game. And it is about takeaway stores and trying to sell the best burgers in town.
Oh.
It's food chain Magnate.
Yes.
This game is amazing. It is one of those games that I don't own it. I don't think I'll ever own it because it's kind of, you need that perfect, stars will need to align to get to the table.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame. And it's a very expensive game. So if you're not going to...
Is it ever?
It's really
isn't it like
expensive.
it's almost 300 or something, isn't it?
It's like $250 for the base game, and then it's another $200 for the expansion.
Yeah, and the expansion's huge as well. Yeah. So, and it's got cards again. Look, I'm showing my true colors here. I love card play in games, and it's even though it's a really long game, everyone's playing their turns at the same time. So you're setting out all your cards, which are your employees, and you're putting them in like a corporate hierarchy, and then you're like activating them all. And yeah, it pretty much goes, simultaneously for that part. And then you try and sell the food, and then that's got a specific who's selling the food first kind of thing, which is really cool. I love that. It's like, oh, I thought I was going to sell my burgers, but you sold them for $1 cheaper and everyone came to you.
Yep.
No.
It's so cutthroat.
It is. It's so cutthroat. And it's just, I'd fail so badly every time I play it, but it's a game I love to fail at. And I think I really love variable player powers, and it has this amazing mechanic where you all start on an even keel, but there's these milestones, and you can choose which milestones you're going for. And these milestones give you game-breaking powers. So that is your variable player powers, because once you reach the milestone in that turn, that's cut off from everyone else. No one else can have that game-breaking power that you get. Yeah, so it's amazing. And I'm talking, these are like huge things where, there might be one is if you get I can't remember what you get first, but then you get the fridge and no one else can have the fridge. You've got it. And then you can store all your food. You don't have to throw it away. It doesn't go in the garbage.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that. It's crazy, crazy powerful stuff that changes your whole game and it changes your strategy. And you can decide what to go from the outset. So fun. I love it. That's Food Chain Magnate.
Oh,
I
that's
really
a good
want
one.
to try it. I really, really want to try it. I love the box. I love all the bits. Like, I love the look of it.
It's
I just
retro.
always I'm so turned off by the price. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the expansion on like a special. I think it was like $120. And I was like, what?
That's a bargain. You should have got that.
yeah, true. But man, it's an expensive game for a game that I would probably play like 2 times a year. Do you know what I mean? Like having a group to play it.
Yeah, I really want to play it as well. But you're right, Sarah. The stars need to align for that one. Didn't get the right group together. So that's why I don't have it yet. But I want to try it.
Yeah.
All right.
One day.
My number 8 is a game that I got this year. It was through Kickstarter.
Oh, I know what it is.
Any guesses?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Go for it. Have a guess.
I don't want to guess because I don't want.
It's right behind your head. Super Fantasy Brawl?
That's it. Super Fantasy Brawl, number 8.
Okay, all right.
And yeah, it lived up to all of my expectations, and it was every bit as good as I thought it would be. I've got to play it a heap since I've got it, and it is fantastic. I love how simple yet bitey and thinky and crunchy the interplay in this game is, and just the different combinations of heroes and their strengths and weaknesses, and trying to figure out the awesome synergies that you can get together with them, and just with the different objectives that come out, and that all of those things combined just make it so you'll never play a game the same ever. Even though there's not many bits and there's only 12, well, the Kickstarter edition came with 12 champions in it. I do have the expansion for another 3, and they're going to be releasing many more, but it's so good. It's so good. It romped it's not way up the top of my list, but it surpassed a lot of other games that I really like. And I think it's going to be in my top 10 for a long time. And I think it may only even climb from here. So the more I play it, the more experiences I have with it. It is so good.
That's a Kickstarter regret for me right there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that expensive. It was like $59.
Okay.
Like
American.
Yeah, 59 US. That was it.
Yeah, okay.
Like that's not
for
bad.
A minis game, that's
for
pretty...
a game, the box, for a minis game and a box that's bigger than Gloomhaven.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. And it's got a nice neoprene mat too.
I didn't get the neoprene mat because I just stuck with the cardboard, but I'll probably get that at some point so I can run 2 games at once. So there you go.
Very nice.
Number 7.
Number 7, Adrian.
So number 7 for me was it's a game that I started to play, and then I packed it all away, put all the pieces back where they started, reset the whole thing, and then started to play it 4-player rather than 2. And that's Jaws of the Lion.
Oh. Yes, I knew it.
I really love it. And I love, you know what? Like, I love seeing my friends play it more than I like playing it, which is weird. Just sort of, it makes that game. Like, the groups make the games. Like, that happens with some games. And the group that I have makes the game. They're really, really good at it. And we have a great time playing it. We're not that far into it, granted, but there's no rush. You know, like, we're not in a massive rush to binge it because there's plenty of other games out there. But I really enjoy playing it. I love the mechanic. I love the book. I love that you don't have to get this big board out. I love that it takes maybe 10 minutes to set up.
Mm-hmm.
Open the book, get the tray out, put the traps out, put the gold out, put the treasure chest out, put your heroes on the board, read the thing, away you go.
Nice.
Like,
yeah.
It's not Gloomhaven, which, you know, is a lot more than that from what I've been told. But yeah, I think it's a great game. It's a great game at a great price point as well. It's not like a ridiculously expensive game. Like, yeah, I love it. I really enjoy it. I love that card mechanic. I've never done that card mechanic before. as a dungeon crawler type thing. But I don't really usually play dungeon crawlers. I started to and just figured that they just weren't for me. But this one with the whole legacy element kind of makes it feel like World of Warcraft or Diablo, like you're collecting your armor and you're buying these upgrades, and that in itself is just addictive. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I want more. I want to be like super hard, like, have all this cool stuff and level up and get all this experience points, and like even just the hatchet. Like, I don't play hatchet, but my friend plays hatchet, and throwing the axe into a person, doing massive damage, and then when he dies, like the axe is on the ground, and then he pulls the axe out of the body like that. Yeah, that's so clever. Like,
all the attacks are thematic.
It's so simple and so logical to put that in a game, and there should be 100 games doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, even arrows. Like, if you could do something for arrows, like if you do a multi-shot arrow, you can go pick 2 of them up or something rather than 3. I don't know, but the potential is endless. So, yeah, really, really, really enjoyed it. Great game. Isaac's a good dude. Did a good job. So, yeah, and he did it himself as well. Like, he started that thing from himself, which is awesome. So,
good stuff.
It's impressive. It's impressive what he built.
Yeah,
for sure. That's my son's favorite card too, Adrian. I think it's called the favorite, isn't it?
I don't know, because I have I have the Demolitionist, and her name is Demo Moore, and she has the big one. That's her special. So
I'm playing as her as well. The Demolitionist. Cool.
There you go. All right, Sarah, number 7.
Okay, so a bit like you with Super Fantasy Brawl, Jules, this one is a shooting star. I haven't had it for that long, and it's just been blowing my mind. Every time I play it, I'm like, what is next? What is happening? This is amazing. And that is Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
Oh,
nice.
Well, you can't say much, so let's move on to number 6.
I'm not going to spoil anything. But what I will say is that they have done it again. They've sort of gone back to, not that Season 2 was bad. I loved Season 2, but they've kind of gone back to that Season 1, that unfolding story that's really, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening with this thing. And there's so many unique elements in it as well that make it feel like a completely different game almost. If you like, Pandemic, if you played Pandemic Season 1 and then you didn't really like Season 2, give this one a go, because it really has gone back to that mind-blowing story, and it's so great. I love it. I play mellowdice.org to get some music going. Yeah, it's fantastic. Mark, my partner, and I play it. We play 2 characters each, and we just love it. It's edge of your seat kind of gaming, really. It's very challenging, but it's fun.
Does it play like 1960s kind of spy music? Is that what the music is for that?
I would love it to be, but Mellow Dice doesn't have one for Season 0 yet. So it's actually I've been playing like the normal Pandemic one. I have been playing it, but it's just
you should just play like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like something like that.
Yeah, you can actually suggest songs for Mellow Dice. I should.
There you go. Make one. Do your playlist. Go for it.
There you go.
Awesome. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Do that one. That's a good soundtrack.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, my number 7 is probably going to surprise some people because they would probably think it's higher on my list. It's one of my favorite area control games.
Okay.
It's Blood Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think that would make your list this year.
Oh, no. Blood Rage is 100% in the top 10, but I guess some people might have thought it might have been higher because it can be such a brutal game. But yeah, I love Blood Rage. I love it so much. I love everything about it. The theme, the simplicity of the fighting, the card drafting, the miniatures are insane. It doesn't even play like that long. It's not a long game. Like if everyone knows the game, you could do it in 1 hour. Easy. because the drafting just goes that much quicker because people know the cards. You go, oh, yep, that's a good one. I'm taking it. Like you can do your drafting in 2 minutes or less even. It's so good. So good. For me, it's a hallmark of what a great area control game is. And I love the twist that incorporates the Viking theme, that you don't necessarily have to do the area control path to win the game. You can do that Loki strategy and lose your fights to get more glory from going to Valhalla. So it's just, oh man, I love Blood Rage so much. But yeah, when I looked at the other games, I was like, oh, I like it just that bit more, and not much more, but it's still in my top 10. I still love it a lot.
I love all the monsters. The monsters are cool.
Oh, they're so cool.
They're so fun. They're all so different, and they do such different things. And yeah, I love getting those.
Yeah.
Like that's the best bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, fool.
This is the only.
He's checking the list again.
It's so bad. I'm so bad. This memory, man. I don't even know how I function. My number 6 is the only party game that's on my list. Yeah, and
I think I know what it is.
Oh, go for it. Go on. I'll let you have it. Yeah, it's so good. It's just so good, man. Like I can't fault that game for just putting it out at the barbecue. Anyone can play it. They don't have to be involved, but everybody chimes in. They all chime in. They're like, "Oh, what do you want? Oh, what's that clue? What did you give us a clue?" And then everyone loves playing it. It's so well made. I think it's faultless in comparison to, say, Codenames and that, which I think does have some drawbacks after playing it a lot. I just find that Decrypto doesn't. It always brings fun. It never brings anything but fun, I think, and I really love it. So,
Adrian, I think you said something about Decrypto, you're not allowed to use in-jokes or something, which blew my mind because I always use in-jokes with it.
I'm pretty sure it says that in the instructions.
Does it really?
I'll check it and I'll get back to you, I promise. But I'm pretty sure it's really funny about that kind of stuff. I think Codenames doesn't matter.
No.
Because you're just giving a clue to a person.
Yes.
Whereas, let's say on Decrypto, Team A gives their clue, but the people on Team B who are trying to decipher it, if they don't know it's an in-joke, how are they supposed to figure out if it goes to the column A, B, C, or D?
Right.
That they can't. If it's an in-joke that you've done with Mark, how am I supposed to be able to tell which column to put that word in?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be everyone on the team knows. It can't just be
everybody
one
on both teams. Like it's a general thing. Because let's say you and Mark had an in-joke.
I only want
about,
my team to guess it. So I don't care about the other team.
That's the whole point. If you had an in-joke about, I don't know, car keys, and you went like, Toyota or something, and he was like, oh yeah, the Toyota car key thing. That's what it is. It's keys. That goes in this one. How are we supposed to know? Like, do you know what I mean?
That's why I do it.
Yeah, well, I know you want to win. That's okay, but I will check. But I'm pretty sure it says that. I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
And it's coming from me, so it probably has nothing about that in the rule book at all. I've completely made that up, but that's fine.
All right, Sarah.
All right, so this is number 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got a box.
Ooh.
Well, I've got the expansion box because the real box is too big.
Oh.
Okay, it's spacey, it's 4X-y, it's Euro-y, it's battle-y, it's everything-y. It's Eclipse.
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
This is just the expansion. The box is a lot bigger.
It's huge.
Yeah. So Eclipse. Okay. What do I love about it? It's the game that has everything, but it doesn't take 12 hours. It's not. I haven't played Twilight Imperium. I would love to play Twilight Imperium, but I know that's just a crazy long game. This one is like half an hour per player, but gets as close to that epic experience, I imagine, because I haven't played it, as you can, without going all day. And it's got so many things you can do. It's, you can explore, you can research. I love those research tiles.
They are very good.
They're really cool. And you have every alien race has a slightly different ship blueprints. You have a few different ships and you have slightly different blueprints. And when you research, you have like a certain research. Let's say you had a really strong hull for your ship. Then later you can put these like increased hull on your ship blueprints and build the ship how you want it. It's so amazing. I think that's probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, me too.
I've never played it.
It's good.
I really want to play it because all
so
I hear is
good.
good stuff. Like everyone says it's amazing.
Yeah,
so
and unfortunately, it's
Here it comes.
No. I look. We are going to discuss Eclipse on another episode for sure, in depth, because I think it is a very good game.
Yeah.
The thing I was just going to bring up was, unfortunately, Shut Up and Sit Down have reviewed it recently, and the world has then discovered it and gone bananas, and so many people are asking for it. And I think it's going to be sold out for the next couple of years. They've enacted the Shut Up and Sit Down effect, unfortunately. So, I think it is a really, really, really good game. Not surprised it's on your list, Sarah.
Yeah. It's been there for a long time. I think it'll stay there. And I only have the first edition as well.
The second edition's even better, apparently.
Even better. And now I can't get it, I guess. so that's that. At least I've got the first edition.
There you go. All right, my number 6. I think I'm going to stick on theme here. You've transitioned well into space, and my number 6 is Cosmic Encounter.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
This game was one of the first that really drew me into the board gaming hobby. And look, this is a game that just has, like Quacks of Quedlinburg, those fantastic moments. No game will ever be the same with the 50 aliens that come in the base box, let alone all the expansions you can buy to have well over 100 aliens and possible combinations. It's just so good. And we've talked about it before. It's one of those games that's not played down on the table. It's played up on the player level. It's negotiation. It's backstabbing, interaction. It's so much fun. And look, it's a game that divides some people because it's a negotiation type of game. I think it is a game you need to have the right group for, but I just love it so much. If anyone walked in and said, "Do you want to play Cosmic?" No questions asked. I'm playing. Easy. So good.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I can see what you're saying about people being turned off it a little bit. It is. I mean, it can be really nasty. You can
oh heck yeah.
You can go into battle with someone and then turn around and then fight them as well. It's alliances don't last very long in
No, they do not.
But yeah, it's good fun.
Number 5. Adrian.
Well, since we're sticking on the space theme.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
We didn't plan this.
No, this was completely random, so it's quite funny. This is a game that I never envisaged playing 6 months ago or a year ago. Never in a million, billion, squillion years. This is someone that plays I played light games. I wasn't big into the hobby. I was a person that Googled terraforming Mars and on Mars to figure out what they even were, like what the difference was. I didn't know. Exactly. Like I had no clue. But yeah, man, on Mars, man, that game, so good. I bought it. I got it on the Kickstarter because I knew the Kickstarter for Mercado de Lisboa. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it gives you the access to the older games for the Kickstarter bits, all inclusive at a really good price. And yeah, I think that game is so good, like next level good. Like I know it gets like that big 4.6 or whatever it is on BGG. Like, I mean, like I get it for the first couple of plays. I do get it, but once you've played it like 4 times, 5 times, I don't think that's the right number to give that game. I don't think it's that hard. Like, I think it's hard to win and hard to master, but like, I think that it's just everything fits together so well, like thematically, the iconography, just everything. It's such a good game. Like, I mean, just I never thought I'd ever play it, and when I first got invited to play it, I was a bit like, nah, man, like, I'd love to, but like, I was just totally like, there's no way I will forget everything. And I did. I was asking the same question every round. What does that do? If I go there, what does that do? Like, yeah, that's basically what it did. But yeah, it's just, it blew my mind to the potential of what some of these games can do, like at their max capacity.
Yeah.
And what I could learn, like, and I never thought I could learn it. We talked about it just like 2 weeks ago or a week ago on the heavy games thing with Mitch. Like, I never thought I would be playing that game like that quickly. And, you know, I have to give complete props to Def to being really patient with me and teaching me and teaching me and teaching me, like 5 games or something, to the point of like, it was just like one night at midnight, I can't sleep. What are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? Nothing. Should we just play on Mars? I was like, yeah. We just played on Mars at midnight. Like, it's just so good. Like, I really, really love it. And I've said it a lot recently. Like, I seem to be liking these kind of worker placement games. I just enjoy them. And I think that's got to be up there with the best of them. Like, without a doubt.
There you go.
Without a doubt.
On Mars is like the Schrodinger's cat of board games. It's like heavy, not heavy, heavy, not heavy.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's bizarre.
It's just that getting that first couple of plays through makes a huge difference. And when I played at 4-player first with you guys, Connor, Jules, Def, and myself, by the end, I still had zero clue what was going on.
Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like, I know that I moved to work here and I did this, but then I was like getting what the difference was between the contracts and then the scientist. Then you bought the scientist, then a contract went in that place of that scientist, and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's probably a good one to do 2 players to start off and learn, I reckon, and then 100%. Go up to your 4-player count. I'd probably recommend that.
Everyone blocked all the moves I was trying to do.
Yeah, so that's right. You don't get the space to explore everything if you're doing 4-player for the first game.
It does feel like a lot more freedom with a 2-player game.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know if that reflects in the points or the score, though, does it?
It probably would.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think the points would scale down a little bit at 4-player
compared
to 2.
You can, when other people are building more things and, you know, doing those chains of buildings, you can kind of latch onto those and stuff. So, I don't know. Like, it's probably a little bit in it, but maybe not a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Fantastic game.
Cool.
So,
good choice.
Thanks.
All right, Sarah, number 5.
Okay. So this is another one of those board game barbecue favorites.
Okay.
And you all know what it is.
No, I don't, because there's loads of favorites.
Oh, Barrage.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Water droplets. I'm doing the water droplets.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's not Jazz Hands.
No, no, this is Jazz Hands. Yeah, Barrage. I honestly just kind of fell in love with it the first time I played it. I really enjoyed the puzzle of it. I think I was talking to people in the Discord today about games that make you think in different ways, and Barrage had that for me. That board and the puzzle of collecting the water and then having the correct buildings to be able to capture it and make power out of it. That just instantly fascinated me, and I love trying to unpick that and get better at the game every time, which I seem to be doing. I'm in an upwards direction with that game, which is fantastic. And that's not unusual. I usually start and I get a bit of beginner's luck and then go downhill. So I'm anyway, I won't talk too much about Barrage because we've talked about it, a lot. But it's my number 5. Love it.
There you go. Well, my number 5 is one that's already been talked about as well, and that's Birmingham.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So this was, again, a game that I only played this year for the first time, and it is romped way up my list. The only thing I guess I'll add to what we've talked about so far is, when I said that I have a history of loving war games, I could almost describe Birmingham as like an economic war game, because there is area control in it. You can block people out from using certain locations on the board. You're stealing each other's resources to, get your engine going. You can 100% block people out with where you put your canals or your train networks. Oh, it's so good. And you've got to adapt to those moves and counter moves. It's so good. I can't speak highly enough of it. I think this one will also have some enormous staying power in my top 10 for a long, long time, because it is, for me, I would almost say it's a flawless game. It really is. It's that good. But I do have others that are higher on my list, surprisingly. So,
like those games that do that well, usually they get an expansion. Is there something in the pipeline for that, or is that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Brass is just Brass. Like there's other
so
versions of it.
Yeah,
But
I know that.
I don't know what you do to it. I think that would just mess it up.
Yeah.
Like it's so tight and so refined. I
Better to just do another one.
Yeah,
Brass-
I'd be
Brass
loath
Norwich.
to touch it as
Yeah.
well. And because it is the beer war version of Brass,
Yes.
right?
Yes. The
So
beer.
it is different already, and it's got the beer, which, and some people hate that. Some people don't like the beer version, the Birmingham version, and would rather play Brass Lancashire. But I think that makes it really great. So I'm all about the beer war version for sure.
There you go.
Number 4.
Okay. We're halfway, guys. Now
Are we
we
doing the time? Are we beating the other guys?
We're past.
I don't know.
Past
We'll
halfway.
see how we're
past
going.
Halfway. We only have 4 to do now, not 6.
That's
So we're
true.
past
But
halfway.
we've got more to say about these games because they're more, I guess, our favorites.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Number 4, Adrian.
Number 4 is a small box game that has just had massive success everywhere. Everybody talks about it. It's The Crew. It is so good. And I have played 2 decades of 500. Do you know what I mean? Like, I loved 500 growing up. I knew my friends' groups. I had friends of family that all played it. I knew the tells, I want to be on your team. It's me and you. We're doing it. It's us. We're going. Because I knew that we could read each other really well. But yeah, The Crew is just so good. That cooperative element in a trick-taking game, I've played it before in other trick-taking games, but nothing as good as that. I know that it's, the missions and stuff are really just like a skin of just, trying to make it hard for you to do each one, and it progressively gets harder, but it's just so well done. Like those, Sarah has to complete a trick, then Jules has to complete a trick, then I have to complete a trick. That, that order, and the fact that they put the tricks out there and you choose the different ones and stuff, and your friends will take one and all you're thinking is, no, don't take that one. I want that one. Like, that's an easy one for me.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's just great, man. Like, it's got limitless replayability. Like, because it's 500. And I mean, like I said, I've played 2 decades of 500 and still would play 500 in a heartbeat. So yeah, it's a great game. It's a game that as well that just kind of just snapped and appeared. Like, it was like The Crew, and then it was like everyone's like The Crew, like they all had it. It's everywhere. I think the price, the awards, everything, it's just had an absolute romp of a year.
Big bang for your buck for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Adrian, would you say that you're really good at trick-taking games? Like, does that sort of influence the way
I
you
think
play
it's kind of like Steve said it before, like he said that if you have the right partner and you can read each other, anybody can be good at a trick-taking game. But if you've just gotten someone that doesn't really understand what they're doing, they're just like, I guess a 7, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Not a green 7. What are you doing to me? But like, it's just great. Like, it's just, I love those games. I don't play many trick taking games, like Fox and the Forest Duet and things like that, but not specifically. I don't chase them or look for them. But The Crew was just so good.
Yeah.
And I like that co-op. I love that co-op element of, you can all sit around the table, have a laugh, and then when you start your mission, like Steve said, it's kind of, not that it's quiet, it's like you're looking at everybody on the table almost like poker.
Yeah.
But you're on the same team.
Yeah.
Like, you're on the same team, but you can't really tell anybody anything. And then yeah, it's just great. It's just so well executed. So
Cool.
and I think the art for that game as well on the cards is really like not talked about enough. Like those
Neon.
astronauts and the astronauts and the neon and stuff and just really cool. So
Well, before we jump on to you, Sarah, for your number 4 game, I'm just going to give an update for our Sizzling members that are participating in sort of a mini competition while we've been doing these top 10 list episodes. So we asked our Sizzling members in the barbecue pit to name 15 games that they think will appear on these episodes. And I just want to give a quick update on how things are progressing. And I have to say, it's really tight, except for one person. But we've got Pesky, Dave, Bubba, and JDL all on 6. And then we've got Shane, Stuart, Big Man, Zarkon, Thomas, Draven, and Damo on 5. And then we've got Jonathan on 3.
wow.
So there's not much separating them.
If they said Barrage, they don't get 2 points, right?
No. It's just if the game appears, it's 1 point.
See, our one is harder because we've got a lot of...
I was just thinking that. There's a couple of crossovers.
We have had a few crossovers. I'll be surprised if there's any more at this point forward, but we'll see. So having done that, Sarah, number 4.
So we've got another crossover.
Oh, my goodness.
Jules had to say it. He jinxed it.
Yeah. It's a space game on Mars.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it so much.
So it's 4 for you, Sarah.
Yeah, it's my
5
number
for me.
4.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah, it's my number 4. I would play this sort of at any time other than at midnight. So I'm not as hardcore as Adrian, but it's a beautiful game. It's just the design is just near to flawless. I couldn't think of any flaws in it. It just seems to make so much sense. And like I said, it's Schrodinger's cat because it's heavy, not heavy. You understand. Once you understand it, it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And I think it is a great game to, like you said, Jules, to play, deep dive into it and play it, and then everything else will just seem comparatively easy. But I don't want to say that to scare people off. I think anyone really can learn this game.
I agree.
I really do. That's on Mars.
Wow. Okay. So my number 4.
That 3 on Mars is just, that's all of us, right?
No, it was my honourable mention.
That was your honourable mention.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. All right.
But
Still got to mention
You
that.
haven't played it that much.
No, I haven't. It has potential to climb. Absolutely.
Wow.
My number 4. Not many people know about this game, and it has not been a sizzling game that I've done. One of us has a copy, but I do not have it.
One of us?
One of us 3 has a copy, but I don't have it.
And it's one that we haven't done as a sizzle.
No.
Or someone has done it as a sizzle, but not
Yep.
you.
And
I think I know, but I'm not sure. I think
it is Black Rose Wars.
You'll seem
that's
to have a
sneaky.
copy though,
That's
right?
not what I thought it was.
I do own a copy. It's just sitting in Adrian's cupboard waiting for me to pick it up when I meet him.
It's literally over there.
Black Rose Wars. I've played it 5, 6, maybe a few more times because my brother owns a copy. And I played it a few years ago when their first wave shipping of the core box came out, and I've been able to get myself a copy with all the Kickstarter stuff secondhand, very luckily.
Nice.
And oh my goodness, this game is insane. I think this could climb even further once I get to play with the Kickstarter stuff.
And paint your minis.
And paint the minis. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, Black Rose Wars, I'll definitely talk about it as a sizzling game at some point in the future when I get to play with my copy. But a really quick rundown. It's a fantasy game where you're all playing as mages and you're fighting for control to be the head of the Black Rose Wars Order, or the Black Rose Order. And you play on this beautiful board. It's all these different hex rooms that you randomly lay out for every game except the middle and one other that has to be adjacent to the middle. And you take a sorcerer and you choose a different school of magic. There's necromancy, there's pyromancy, there's evocation, there's illusion, I think the base game came with 8 different schools of magic, and then the Kickstarter stuff added like another 15. So there's deck building. You're choosing different spells from all these different schools of magic. You're summoning creatures to fight for you, as well as casting spells on other mages. There's sort of element of area control, because when you're casting some of those spells, you destabilize the magic in that room. Yeah, there's the pen. There's the pen. You destabilize the...
I've got a copy you can buy, Sarah, for $20.
I'll take it.
It's a phenomenal game. It is so good. It is... I feel so sad that it's not well known about. It will be coming to retail. They'll have a core box and they'll sell the miniatures separately. But my goodness, do I think this is an amazing game and highly deserving to be at number 4, even though I haven't played it in well over a year.
I can say, like, I picked it up for you, and I had to check that the boxes didn't just have like sawdust or a brick inside. So, like, just in case. And like, the production value is off the charts. Like, even just the plastic thing that covered the minis has like a rose embedded into the like plastic casing of it and stuff, and it's like, it just looks phenomenal. Like,
it's
the box
so
is
good.
massive.
I mean,
like, the box is like 2 tapestry boxes on top of each other.
It's huge. It's humongous.
And then there's another box which is like just tapestry, and then there's a big foot-long thing that's like massive. Like,
yes, this will be at our retreat, so don't worry, Sarah. You'll get to play it. And
You had me at Mages. That was it.
Oh yeah,
It's
What's
Mages, deck
they
building.
could have named this the Sarah game. It's Mages. It's deck building. You know, I'll talk about it as a seasonal game at some point in the future, but that's my number 4, Black Rose Wars.
Nice. Better look after it, Adrian, hey? No pressure.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. It's only got a bit of water damage. It's fine.
Number 3.
Top 3. Oh,
already.
here we go. We're in the big leagues now.
I'm freaking out. Number 3 for me. Okay.
Go for it.
Number 3 for me is a game that I have played a lot this year. A lot. And it's a game that I just bought because I liked the art and I liked the designer, and it was something that I wanted to try because no one else, I'd heard a couple of people talk about it, but I didn't really know much about it, and I just wanted to play it. And I'm scared of Through the Ages. Like, that's a Civ game that's just too big for me at the moment. Like,
does it start with a T?
It does start with a T, and it's Tapestry, man. Like, I really was enamored with that game for a long time. Like, playing game after game, I really enjoyed it. I know that people have issues with the unbalancing, or someone might get 200 and someone might get 350. Like, that's just the way it goes. But I kind of like it to like SSX tricky. Like, if you can combo, like in that snowboarding game from the early 2000s, if you can combo, you can just combo and combo and combo and combo and just get a ridiculous score. I love it. I love the art. I love with the expansion now, there's some really cool counterattack things. So if I do get attacked, which always happens, I can play like a counterattack to a counterattack, which is really cool. Like, that's really fun. It's also a game that I introduced to some friends who'd never played, quote unquote, like a heavier game, comparatively to what they might have played before. And they loved it so much that they went out and bought a copy the following day. Like, it's just a well-made game, well-produced, great, like, painted miniatures. And I've seen people paint the painted miniatures. You know what I mean? Like, they've upgraded the painted minis. Like, I think that's really cool. And yeah, I just love it. I really enjoy it. I like trying, like, I'm going to try military and science this time, see what happens. So yeah.
Good stuff.
I just enjoyed it.
All right, Sarah, number 3.
Okay, so I sort of grew up playing dungeon crawlers, and for a while there, Hero Quest was on my top 10 list because I had that nostalgia for it. And it's not on my top 10 list anymore, spoiler alert. But there's been a dungeon crawler that I think has changed dungeon crawlers forever. Yeah, and I think, you know, the fact that you're playing cards and not rolling dice was the big game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 3 is, of course, Gloomhaven.
There we go.
Yeah. I do love it so much. And like you were saying, Adrian, with the thematic attacks, it's got that in spades, you know, like every character in the game is so unique. And, you know, one of the reasons why I like to play games that focus on like mages and stuff is that feeling of being powerful. Your character is powerful. And Gloomhaven has that, you know, you start fairly weak, but you will build up and you will have like these powerful cards in your arsenal that you can use, and you'll just feel like your character can just do all these things and you're just like, bam, 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 look at me go. I'm so powerful. And I love that. And yeah, of course, that unfolding story as well, and retiring characters and unlocking new ones and going, all right, well, what now? What, we're going to go on a different adventure with this new character. And yeah, there's so much to explore there. I don't even think I'm halfway through it. So
Nice.
that's Gloomhaven. I'm going to be playing that for the rest of my life, I think, at this rate.
I'm definitely with you on the whole no dice thing. Like, not that I'm like against dice in those games. I liked Arkham Horror 3rd Edition for its, you know, like big, like 10 dice rolls and stuff for fun. But my game tastes and stuff have changed and adapted, and I've found that there are better ways of doing it. And I definitely think that's one of them. Like that choice element and the whole, the number, you know, the high-low number thing, you know, the player order, the player turn, that's so clever as well.
That's really clever.
Yeah.
It's not, the initiative, rather than it just being like, okay, well, I'm going to go first, you're going to go second. It's all predetermined before you get to choose. Like, I love that.
I'm going to throw this in the works, but Gloomhaven could use a die. Like the deck that you flip to see what damage is plus or minus, like that could just be a 20-sided die with a crit and a miss.
No, it can't though, because you manipulate that. So when you get your perks, you can take out the bad cards and put more good ones in. So
Positive
that modifier
ones.
deck, instead of it becoming like, you know, at the start, again, it's that feeling powerful thing. When you start, the character has a lot of minuses. It's got -1.
Is that a permanent thing or just for the next mission?
No, as you level up and as you complete different campaigns, you get these perk cards and they allow you to do that permanently. You change your modifier deck permanently. So so it isn't just like a dice, because unless you have a dice where you can take faces off and put different ones on.
Put stickers on.
Stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the card thing's just cool. Like, it's better. I think it's better because it's familiar, because you doing the card thing for your powers, just do the card thing for theirs rather than you doing the card thing and then they do dice. Like,
yeah, see, that's something I played 3 missions and never encountered that. I think that they should make that evident from the first mission that you're able to do that, because I had no idea.
Yeah, it is in that leveling up. Like if you read the leveling up section, it's part of the leveling up. You always get 1 tick to take some things out of your modifier deck and put other things in.
Okay.
And also the other thing that it allows is if you get your double, your like critical hit, or if you get your miss, you have to reshuffle the deck again.
Yeah,
and
I do
you wouldn't
know
be
that.
able to do that with the dice either. So yeah, there are definitely reasons.
essentially the
makes
dice is always reshuffling.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
It is,
right.
Yeah. Okay, well, I thought we didn't have any crossovers, but then I checked my list again, and this is a crossover.
Oh, dear.
And it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but my number 3 is A War of Whispers.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
So,
See?
yeah, I think it's a phenomenal game. And like what Adrian said, it's so simple. It plays quick. If everyone knows the game, you can play this in 45 minutes. And it's a fantastic war game experience where everyone controls every faction on the board, and you have to really think about where you're placing those agents, because you only get to pull one off from round to round. And so, you know, there's just so much good stuff to say about this game. I know I've been beating that drum for a long time. I think it's one of the best games ever. And it just doesn't have that reach yet. But I think that it will get there and people will discover just how good of a game this is. Because it's not complicated. It gives that war game experience. And yeah, I just think A War of Whispers is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a great game. Number 2.
We're almost there.
My number 2 is going to upset a few people.
Uh-oh.
And shock a few people as well. But my number 2 is Barrage.
Barrage. There we go.
It wasn't number 1. Like, you know why? Like, I played that a lot during that BGG con. I know it's online and it's slightly different. But I played it at home as well with 2 people, and it plays well with 2 people, but definitely sings with more. Like, you have to have that 4. I know you can use the Automa and stuff, but it's just not as good. Just a fact. You have to have that higher player count, at least 3. Like, I really think 3 is better. But it's just so good. Like, it's such a good game, but it's also a hard game to teach. Like, if you teach that to somebody, they're not going to get it that first time.
Yeah.
And they might not even get it that second time if they've never played one of these games. But the theme is just so good, so clever. Like I've said it before, it sounds boring. It's like, build a dam, put some water through it, make some electricity.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, or you could have on Mars, where you're like colonizing Mars or terraforming Mars, or you're terraforming a planet over generations. This doesn't sound that interesting, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But it just is so well executed, man. And that's a game that I can't speak for Sarah specifically, but I don't think you'd heard of before we spoke to Isaac. Possibly.
I had heard of it, but yeah, it wasn't in the forefront of my mind, that's for sure.
And now, like, it's making top 10 lists all over the place. It's now, I think, 82 on BGG.
Oh,
like,
wow.
it's climbing. Every couple of weeks, that thing climbs a couple of spots.
Because of us.
Yeah. I was going to say because of Adrian.
Yeah, just because of Adrian. It's all Adrian.
I've sold a bunch of copies. Like, everyone that does play it never says, I hated it or I didn't like it. They always come away saying, wow, that was really good. Like, that was a really interesting game and a really kind of good worker placement, resource management. You have all the asymmetrical boards. Like, the asymmetrical boards are so cool. Like, I've just started to use the Germans with the double turbine a lot more now than I had before, because I never created a setup that really benefited from it. And also, other people flush the water before you do, and then all of a sudden you're left with the measly 1 at the bottom to flush for like 2 points. It's just not even worth it. But yeah, it's a captivating game. I love the buildings on the board. They look so good, and every single nation has there's different components. So the power stations for the Germans, the Americans, the Italians, and the French, they all look different. And I mean, vastly different. Like, it just looks so cool when you have that thing littered in like the white, the teal kind of turquoisey color, the black, and then the red. Like, there's just stuff everywhere all over that board, and it's just a multicolored like mishmash of everybody's stuff. And you can have the cutthroat thing where you do build a dam above somebody else's dam and block that water, and you might not be able to do it the first time. You might only be able to build one, like a base, and then the water still goes over, but by round 3 you can put an elevation on that and stop that water completely getting down to them. And it's just so cool. It's such a good game. I have only just started to scratch the surface. I'm not adding that expansion for a long time, but I'm very excited to try the expansion. I know that there was component issues at the start, but I haven't had any with mine personally when it's been at retail. But yeah, it's just really well made. That's a Melodice soundtrack for the ages, that one.
Oh, that's a great one. Yes.
My favorite one. So yeah, it's great. Like, everything about it I really like. So
I prefer to play as the Germans as well, because they've got lots of good bonuses on their on their board.
I like.
As well.
Is it I think it's the French though as well that have the -3 power for a contract. So you don't if you need to fulfill a contract that's 8, energy, you only need to make 5, and that can be amazing. Yeah, because you just stick with the middle. You don't need to go to the top, and you just fulfill those mid-range contracts, get the wheel turning, get your resources back, and just keep doing it, pumping out building after building. So I've won this game against MJ with just building, with pretty much hardly producing any energy and just build. And if you get those 7 victory points on that thing and you get it 3 times, it's 21 points. For a game where you're scoring like 120 to 135 kind of points, that's a lot of points.
Yeah, true.
It's really possible. Like it's a great game. Really, really well made. You know, dual layer player boards as well. Everything clicks in like nice and sinks in. Like even that, it's so silly because it's really just 2 pieces of cardboard with some holes in it, but it makes the difference. It really makes the difference, man. Like it just does.
That's one thing Eclipse doesn't have. Oh my gosh. The original one, the one I have, it's like stuff just moving around on your playboard all the time. Like,
no, see the Eclipse, the second edition, you can actually slot your cubes in. The trays are well organized. It's nice.
Yeah.
So Barrage was a game that came from nowhere for me. Like I'd never heard of it, never seen a picture of it. But that whole wheel thing, when Isaac explained how that wheel worked, I was fascinated. I hadn't even seen a photo. He was just talking about it, and I was like, wow, that sounds awesome. It is like a puzzle within a puzzle.
It is,
And I like that. I like that element.
I should teach it Sulkin as well, Adrian, because if you like the wheel, then you'll probably like Sulkin as well.
Yeah, I'd love to learn a lot more games in the up and coming couple of weeks. So
there you go. Next year, Sulkin will be number 2 and Barrage won't be in the top 10.
Barrage will be ditched. They'll be gone.
All right, Sarah, number 2.
Number 2. All right, hang on 1 second. I have a box.
I knew that had to be there somewhere. I was like, where's that? That has to be there.
Yep.
Everyone listening is in suspense now.
Jeez, that was I put it on the floor and it just like made my whole desk shake. It's a heavy box. There's a lot of content in that box.
Don't forget to tell everyone what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Aeon's End Legacy. It is so actually it's really funny because Aeon's End, I'd seen like boxes of Aeon's End before, and not that the artwork looked bad, it looked okay, but so I had seen Aeon's End around. The artwork looked okay, but I thought it was a dungeon crawler because it's got this like monster on the box and da-da-da-da-da. And the reason why I don't buy that many dungeon crawlers today is because Gloomhaven's going to take me the rest of my life. Yeah. But also Mark doesn't love them either. And then they released the Legacy version, which is just that black box, which is just so plain, but it's got on it a co-op deck building game. So I saw those words and I went, wait a minute, what? I love deck building. This is a deck building game. I didn't actually know that it was a deck building game. And my partner and I, we love Dominion and a whole bunch of other deck builders. And so I went, I'm getting this. And because Mark really loves Legacy games as well. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting this.
Winning combo.
And it was like 5 minutes into the game that we looked at each other and we were just like, this is amazing. This is insane. Like, it's so much fun. Again, it's that thematic thing. And you can, instead of, when you play Dominion, it does kind of feel a bit boring because you're just going for points. You just want to build those provinces and it's like, it's fine. It's a nice engine builder, but it's like, it's not that exciting. This one is so exciting. If you really like deck building, you've got to try it. It's so good. And the thing with the Legacy version as well, if you don't like Legacy games because you can only play them once, this game isn't like that. You can
reset it.
Yeah, you can. Well, we actually played through it twice because there was only 2 of us and there was 2 fresh mages that we hadn't put stickers on yet. We did it again without the reset pack, but you can get a reset pack. But you know what? You don't actually need it because you can take those mages and you can take those cards and you can put it with the other Aeon's End stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can just play you can play against the same bad guys again and just play on the increased difficulty, which we've done that as well. Now that we know how to play, we're playing it harder and it's really fun. And the reason why I recommend this one so much to people that haven't played Aeon's End is because it gives you this like introductory start to the game. It doesn't go, here's all the rules for Eon's End. It sort of like, guides you through a bit like Jaws of the Lion does.
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing.
Yeah. But the cool thing with the legacy is that you actually get to build your own mage. So you again, it's that whole I'm showing my true colors again. It's that whole thing of you start kind of weak or whatever, but then you get to tailor your mage and have the powers that you want to have. If you want to be a badass healer, then you can. If you want to, be just a tank, you can.
I want to be a badass healer.
You can be a badass healer.
That's what I want to be.
Do it.
I love healers in those games. Oh, there's not enough.
Me too.
I always play clerics and things like that. I love priests and healing powers.
I like healers that also have a bit of biffo.
Yeah,
it's
clerics
so
have the
good.
hammer, so it's always good.
Yeah,
Wow.
that sounds in legacy.
Okay. Now, my number 2, it may surprise some people, and I'll have to explain why it's number 2 when I reveal what number 1 is.
Okay.
But my number 2 is Inish. I think there were a lot of leading up to this recording. There were a lot of people that thought, Inish is going to be number 1, 100%, and it almost was. And I'll explain why when I reveal number 1. Because
Root is number 1. I'm sorry, someone had to say it.
Dear. No. Full stop. No. But Inish is, for me, it's the best war game ever made. Bar none. I think A War of Whispers is fantastic, but it is that little bit different because everyone controls everything. But Inish is, you have your army. And the thing that makes this game so good is the simplicity. It's so elegant. It's just 13. Well, if you're playing just the base game, it's just 13 cards that get drafted every single round. And whatever's printed on the card is your actions for that round. And you have to choose how you want to use them, because you can either use it for the action or save them, because when you're in a fight, you can discard one of them to keep one of your soldiers on the field. And that is so tight. Like, cards are the resource, and every card is strong. Maybe not in every situation, but every card has its moment in the game where it's like, that is the exact thing you need to set yourself up for the win. It is so good, so well done. I got myself the expansion as well, and I'm yet to play with that, and I'm very, very excited to get that out. It adds modules that you can change the game. It adds some harbor areas that you can connect different regions to, rather than it all just being one big landmass.
But the game is modular, right? From what I remember.
Yeah. So when one of the cards allows you to add a new tile to the board, and so you start off the game with as many tiles as there are players in the game, and so as soon as that card is played to explore a new area, you add another one, and the board gets bigger as you go, and more stuff gets put on the board, more soldiers, more sanctuaries, more citadels. It's so well done. The artwork is phenomenal. The box looks insane. It's so cool. It's so unique. And the artwork on the tiles is beautiful. It makes that game, I love the game. Just the artwork alone is stunning. Anyway, I love Inish.
The game does look beautiful.
Oh, it's so good. So, so good. So that's my number 2. It's Inish.
I wanted to love Inish.
Oh,
I wanted to love
don't you, Sarah?
I need
terrible
because it's bad. No, I'm kidding. I need
mature,
to play it again.
guys.
Yeah, but it's one of those games though. Like, I have to say, like, I don't know the strategy to even doing very much other than sort of doing a few actions. Like, I don't understand a strategy to win that game, so therefore I'm probably never going to win that game. Like, I don't win a lot of games, that's granted, but like, I've only played it twice, so
Sure.
for me, I'm never going to win against someone that's played it a few times. And I think that I would get better and better at it, but there's just so many games to play. I end up not playing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I'd love to play it again in the flesh, so please bring it to the thing.
Oh, 100% it will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess one thing I'll say just from what you mentioned, Adrian, is that I don't think there is a strategy to win the game. You have to adapt to how the game's unfolded because you don't know where the sanctuaries are going to be. Are they spread out evenly across the board, or have they just ended up lumped in one particular territory? Like, sure, there might be some small strategies on cards that are worthwhile taking over others at certain points in the game, but I would argue there isn't like known strategies on what you can do to win the game or have a good shot at winning the game, because you have to adapt in that game. The game flows differently each time, and the way it lays out and plays out is completely different each time. So yeah, you got to be able to think on the fly and adapt to the situation.
Well, that's me out then.
All right.
I'll have to try it again sometime.
Okay.
Number one.
We've reached the pinnacle. So, Adrian, go for it.
Number one for me is a game that I played so many times this year, and it was the BGG at Home con that made me change my mind about the positioning for my number 1 and 2. I did a couple of teachers for both of these games. Actually, I actually only did 5 for the other one, and I had an absolute blast every time I played that game. I never was like tired, even when it was like I played games after games, and I still put 2 more teachers in for this at the end, and I never was like, oh, this is going on too long, I'm getting sleepy.
I don't know what it is.
Dude, I loved this game, and I thought it was fantastic, and it really reinvigorated my love for the game. It's a wonderful world.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it. I just can't get enough of it. I can play that game right now. It would take me 40 minutes, 2-player. It plays great at 2. I mean, it plays really great at 2. It plays really great at 4. It plays great at 5. It's got a 5-player count. Like, you have a nation each. There's an expansion coming out, which I didn't Kickstarter. Biggest regret of 2020. Yeah, like, oh, so bad. But you know what?
That's the campaign one, isn't it?
It's campaign, like a legacy element to it.
That was
like
cool.
Extra cards and like crazy cards with like 2 runs of resources down the side. Just looks great. I just saw a play demo for another version of it, and it's called like It's a Wonderful Mystic, or It's a Wonderful something. Like,
oh, okay.
And it's a 2-player variant set in like a dystopian world, an alternative world, and I saw a playthrough for it. It was in French, so I didn't understand a lot of it. But it's on our community page somewhere, someone will find it. And just back to the same thing, like the art is phenomenal, the mechanics are great, card drafting, resource management, engine building, like, and you can teach it to pretty much anybody. It's not the gateway game, it's the one after the gateway game, you know. But I love it. I can't fault it, and it's like a year and a bit later, and I still binge play it.
Yeah.
If I play one game, I'm not playing 1, I'm playing 4.
Yeah,
like straight off.
Jules and I played it on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we did.
And did you like it or not?
I love the game. It's so good.
Okay, Sarah doesn't like it, or you do like it?
I do. I love it.
Cool. Oh, I wasn't sure because you didn't say anything.
No, I was letting Jules talk. I love the game because I'm a huge card drafting fan. I love 7 Wonders. So yeah, it's like next level 7 Wonders.
It is, yeah.
And that mechanic of the resource track clicking along, you know, you know, you can get great. And I love when you can foresee like what's going to happen on that board, and you're like, this card will be built, which will give me 3 black, and that 3 black will build the casino, which will give me the more gold that I need to build the blue card. And it just ticks on and ticks on and ticks on like a combo of like crazy moves. And it's great. Like I enjoy it. Like I just can't fault it for its replayability. It's easy to set up. It's easy to play. You know, the components in it are actually pretty good for just the cardboard thing, like, and some resource cubes.
Yeah, like
Very glossy.
yeah. I was actually blown away with the component quality. Like just the tokens for the financiers and the I can't remember the other one. The generals. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, they're black core cardboard. Like, that's not cheap component quality. That's what Brass Birmingham's Deluxe Edition uses for their bits. Like, I was like, whoa, like that blew me away. So yeah, I can totally see why that's your number one. I think it's
just
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just the replayability of it. It's something that I wouldn't get bored of, and I could play it again when Finn gets older, and it would be just as fun.
Yep.
It's just that cool combination of, and the art as well. Like the art is amazing. Like that really goes.
Yeah.
Not really spoken about very often, but
It's
the
great.
artist behind that, if you get to check his website out, if you look him up and look at his actual website where he does proper full,
big art pieces.
Big art pieces, and they are next level.
That's
like
cool.
phenomenal. Yeah. Some very, very dark. Because that game has a little bit of darkness to it.
It does.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah, the genetics program, and it's like a toddler in a nappy with gills.
Yeah, and webbed fingers.
Yeah, like that's a bit like, whoa, that's a bit creepy, but it's great. It's cool. Like it's a great game. So
nice. All right, Sarah, what's your number one?
All right. Oh, so intense. Okay, I've got the box again. I like this box reveal thing.
I haven't grabbed any boxes because if everyone can see my collection behind me, and if there's a hole missing, you'll know what it is.
I have that game.
Right. Yes.
Mages. I love them. Okay, for people listening at home, it's Mage Knight by Vlada Schvartal, which is one of my favorite designers. So Mage Knight is like so my other love is RPG video games. So if you like RPG video games, you'll love Mage Knight because you're like one character. You are going to level up over the course of like your game. You're going to go around the world. It's like it's very sandboxy. You can do what you want. You can go around. You can collect your mana crystals, and you can fight who you want. Do you want to try and fight a dragon? Do you want to try and fight an orc? Do you want to try and fight a mage tower and be a bad guy? Like, yeah, you can be a bad guy. You can be a goodie. It's really awesome. The thing that I like about Gloomhaven is the leveling up ability. But in Gloomhaven, you only level up like what? After you've done 5, 6, 7 scenarios. In Mage Knight, you know what I mean? It's like that waiting to level up. Yeah.
When I calculated that the first time on Jaws of the Lion, I was like, sweet, I get this experience, and that must be like 3 levels. And I'm like, hang on, I need 45 to get 1 level.
Yeah.
That's going to take like ages. I want to get cool and hard now. Yeah. Like, I want to be a tough guy.
That's right. Yeah. I want to get ripped now.
Yeah.
So that's what that's the itch that Mage Knight scratches for me, because you only need, I think, to go to level 2, you only needed like 4 fame. You could kill 1 dude and get 4 fame, like, so you can level up really quickly, but then you only get like 4 rounds in the entire game to do the thing that you need to do, because you're there to either, siege this whole city that's, I don't know. I don't even know what the story is really. It's just cool.
Just mages.
Just mages. Just mages being badass. That's all I care about. So and just like the spells in your deck are like so crazy powerful, but you have to like line everything up. And some people have come out and said that Mage Knight, it's too much like doing your taxes, like trying to get all your
min-maxing sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that can happen, but I think if you're doing that, you're playing it a bit wrong. You should just play it like it's an RPG, wing it a little bit, see how you go. And one of the best characters in the game for doing that is Arathea, because if she takes wounds, she can use them. She can turn wound cards on the side to be like a +1 attack and stuff like that. She is cool. She's the best character in it. I love her so much. That's Mage Knight, and I've got all the expansions and everything, and there's lots of different scenarios you can do. Again, it's kind of almost a lifestyle game. You could play this forever. And there's a lot of fan-made stuff as well. I tried a fan-made campaign thing where you just keep leveling up forever kind of thing. So that was really cool as well.
Has that been on your number 1 for a long time, or is it? Yeah, okay. You just can't knock it off.
Can't get rid of it. I love it so much.
That's great.
Yeah. I think it is one that you could say, hey, do you want to play Mage Knight at midnight? I once described it as if Mark woke me up in the middle of the night and was like, let's play Mage Knight, I would actually consider it. I'd be like, oh, do I want to do
Just
that?
consider.
No, I want to go back to bed. Yeah.
Oh dear. Wow. Okay.
What is it, Jules? What's your number one?
I've been
Yeah, I
waiting
don't
for this
even know,
moment.
like-
I've been waiting for this moment because I think it will surprise a lot of people.
Now that you've said Blood Rage and you've said Inish, I have no idea.
I don't. I have a guess.
Okay.
But does it start with that letter?
Possibly.
Okay.
It's Vindication. That's
Ah.
my
Yeah,
number
I
one
thought
game.
it would be. I really did think it would be.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've only acquired it this year, and it's okay. I'll explain why it's number one rather than Inish now. So, for me, the one thing that Inish needs is people that are all on a similar level of skill to really make the game enjoyable. Not only for me, but I think for everyone playing. If there's even one player, I feel that look, you can make mistakes in games, obviously, and that's just part of life. But if there's one player that's really obviously so not on the level of everyone else, the advanced players can really leverage that, not to crush the other person, but leverage their misunderstanding and their lack of skill to win the game. And I'm not saying that you all need to be highly experienced people. It could be 4 people that have never played before, all trying it for the first time, and they'd have a fantastic time. But I think as soon as you've got people that know the game, you need to play it with people that know the game. Otherwise,
that's what I said, man. Like, I'm out. Like, I can't because there's 3 people that have all played it and I haven't. So I just don't know what
I
I'm
got
doing.
crushed and we were all new to it. That's how bad I was. No one knew what they were doing and I got crushed.
Yeah, so that's the reason. But Vindication, man. I'd watched playthroughs and reviews of it, and I thought, yeah, this game looks awesome. I'm going to get it. And then I played it the first time, and I thought, wow, yeah, that was really good. And I played it the second time, I'm like, whoa, okay, that was really good. And I've played it many times since now, and I haven't had it that long, and I just want to play it again. And what helped me decide between 1 and 2 was looking at Inish and Vindication next to each other. I'm like, if some people came over right now, I'd like to pull out Vindication. And for me, one of the big things about it is, even though there's so much, it feels like there's story in there, because the premise of the game is that you are a bad person, you've washed up on this island, and you're trying to vindicate yourself, turn over a new leaf and be a good person. There's not a lot of story in the game, but it feels like you're playing a story throughout the game, that your character discovered this and they went and fought some monsters and they found this relic and they did this. And to me, I think what really impressed me the most about the game is the fact that, again, it's one of those games, no 2 games will ever be the same. Just the randomization of how you discover those tiles, what comes out of the bag, because at the start of the game, you only see what's adjacent to you is a fog of war, and as you move deeper into the island, you reveal new tiles. But also, the things it's one of those games where you can't do everything. There's so many different paths to victory, and it depends on what starting companion you might get at the very beginning of the game that might lean you towards taking a certain path. It might not. And, the decks of cards for each of those sort of 6 core traits, attributes in the game, they're all a different path to victory, really. And there's so much to explore in this game. I feel like I could play this 100 times and I'll still be discovering new combos of cards, because there's that much content in there, and they keep releasing more. And there's modules that you can add to the game just to tweak it a little bit, because there's a base game, but then you can add, one of my favorites so far is there's a tile you can add for a pet menagerie. So you can get pets to combine with your companions in your team. And that's just one module, but that one little thing completely changes the game. You can make crazy combos. It's just so good. I can't wait to just keep playing it again and again for years to come, discovering those new combos. There's more content that's coming. oh my goodness, from Orange Nebula. Like, there's a Kickstarter happening in the coming weeks if you're listening to this still in 2020. But man, I love it. It's not complicated, but it makes you think, because you've got cubes, which are your resources, and if you spread out and get control of those areas, you don't have cubes necessarily to put into those attributes to trigger things and buy this and that. It's just, oh my goodness, it's so good. I highly recommend it. I literally, when I went through the process of writing down my top 10 games, I narrowed down the list, and then I went and ordered them. And it actually I surprised myself by putting it at number one. But I look at it again now and I'm like, yeah, it deserves to be there. I think it is a fantastic game. And I think it could almost be a lifestyle game, like you were saying, Sarah, that it feels sandboxy. Like you could do whatever you wanted. You can try different paths to victory, and those paths to victory might not be evident in every single game. Some of them might not be viable for the next one you play. So it's good. It
almost
really
sounds
good.
a little Mage Knighty. Is it like an adventure game? Because you're exploring the island, or?
Yeah, I guess so. But very quickly the island gets explored. And then it's about controlling those areas of the island and utilizing them to get relics or get more attributes or get more companions or go slay monsters. It's so good. So good. So
yeah, it definitely sounds like something I'd enjoy as well.
I think so. So that's another one I'll be bringing. I think we're all going to walk away from this get together next year extremely poor.
Very, very poor.
Fingers crossed I might have Unsettled by then.
Yes.
Possibly. So that'll be interesting to see their second big game. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I think this top 10 is going to make me broke.
Yeah.
I might not even make it to the retreat. I won't be able to afford to come.
You have to walk. No petrol money. Okay. Well, I think we better update the competition for our Sizzling members.
How'd they do?
So it broke apart a little bit. It was really close halfway, but there's been quite a bit of difference in the scoring now. So we had Jonathan finish on 7. So he got another 5 in that second half, which was an awesome effort. Zarkon got 8. Draven, Stuart, and Shane got 9. Big Man and Damo got 10. Thomas and Dave got 11. And then we have a 3-way tie for first for Pesky, Bubba, and JDL on 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice.
so it was pretty tight at the
going.
top, but yeah, everyone was sort of one apart, but then it sort of burst
considering
open.
how many duplicates there were.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not actually out of 30, really. It's probably more out like 22 or something.
Yeah, we had a lot of crossover.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
That's awesome.
Great minds think alike.
That's
That's
it.
right.
That's it. Well, wow, that's it. We've done our top 10. So we've got some business to take care of now, so we better move on to the bracket battle. Okay, so tonight we're resolving Arkham Horror, the living card game, versus Viticulture. So I will say that one game did particularly well on one platform and the other did extremely well on another. So it's a lot tighter than I thought it would be. But do you guys want to have a stab at what you think took the cake?
I think Arkham LCG would have romped home.
No, I don't think it would have. I don't think it romped. I think it's close, but I think I don't know how the stats will, how they work on the percentages, but I think that it might have just won, just like another close one. Okay.
Well, we had just over 300 votes total for this competition.
And if Arkham's out, can I phone Connor right now for a laugh?
Yes, so I can rub it in his face. But unfortunately, I can't do that because Arkham Horror, the living card game, did get through with 61% of the vote.
Well, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, so
I thought it was going to be closer, but
I guess Arkham horror fans just love Facebook, so that's where they got their numbers. But it was destroyed on the Facebook story and Instagram. I'll just say.
So on the business page, Viticulture did really well. Is that what you mean? Or, yeah, okay.
So
cool.
It was 52 to Viticulture to 17 on Arkham Horror. Like, that was smashed.
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of people just didn't vote on the Facebook community. So, guys, if you're not on our Facebook community, get on there because we've got to stop this Arkham train. It's ridiculous.
Ruin the bracket. Got rid of Gloomhaven.
It's just making more enemies as it goes. So we've just got to stop it. Seriously. Anyway, so we're not actually going to set up the next battle tonight. We're going to leave that for the next episode because that's going to be a Mike versus Mitch matchup. And that's going to be Dinosaur Island versus Great Western Trail, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to double check that.
That's going to be a tough one for Mitch because he likes Dinosaur Island as well.
Yeah, no, it is Dinosaur Island versus Great Western Trail. So that will be the final battle for round 3. So then we'll be on to the semi-finals? Quarterfinals.
No, quarterfinals.
Yeah. So
nice.
Exciting stuff to come, guys. Really exciting stuff. So we don't have to debate a game now. So we're just going to move on to our oaths.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, are we doing those? I haven't done mine.
Yeah. I was going to jump in and say I haven't done mine, but because...
Yeah, mine's only on like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I wasn't on that long ago. And, we weren't supposed to be the ones recording tonight because someone's moving. Anyway.
Someone's moving.
But my plan was to play this coming Saturday. Like, I've got people lined up to play Feudum, which is my oath at the moment. So I'm just going to stand my ground here and say it's not fair. I haven't had a chance and I'm not going to double down because it's
the system. The system has done you over.
Exactly. That's right.
The system's done me over too, so I'm not doing anything.
Exactly.
I still want to play. I want to play Night of the Living Dead Zombicide. That's what I want to do on the weekend that I was supposed to play it on.
Yeah. Oh, look, I almost considered. I'm almost considered going out and buying one of the expansions for Feudum that includes the solo mode, but I was like, nah, I don't have to. And I don't want it solo play to be my first play of this. It's a ridiculously heavy game from the how to plays that I've watched. I still need to watch it again because it's like, what the heck? So there's so much to think about. But yeah, Feudum haven't had a chance to do yet, but I swear by the time I'm on the podcast next, I'm going to do it. So that's the plan.
Well, I can't have too much of a go at you because you came all the way to Sydney on Saturday to play with us instead. And we had a great day.
We did.
So I'm not going to say anything. Adrian, you have to tease him.
But he didn't do it, so he can't.
I didn't do mine either, so I can't.
Oh, no.
I just, the days changed for us for the recording. I was due to play it on, the weekend. And, yeah. But that's all good. I'll definitely get it done. I really want to play it. It's the biggest Kickstarter I've ever bought. So I'm really looking forward to playing it. It's, like I said, Night of the Living Dead, the Zombicide edition. It's going to be cool. I can't wait. Love me some zombies. So
zombie love.
Well, also, it's been highly rated by quite a lot of people, actually, including Tom Vassell, who said outright, I don't like zombie games and they're not my thing. And he even said this is really well done. So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Well, Adrian and I are just standing our ground saying,
what you going to do about it?
What you going to do about it? Well, Sarah, have you done yours?
I was just going to say that the real host of the show is sending us messages.
Yeah, close that. Close that now.
Right now saying, Jules, come on, didn't you have room in the car?
Well, look, Feudum, on the box it says it can be up to a 3.5 hour game. So it's huge. I mean, I would have played it if you guys wanted to, but Mitch just wanted to play Skull and Fantastic Factories.
Hey, I liked Skull. I won it.
Yeah, you did.
I won Skull. So
is that the first time you've played it?
No, but I haven't had great experiences with Skull before because people I played it with didn't really enjoy it. So it was actually the best the best play of Skull I've ever had. Absolutely loved it. Had a ball. Mitch's daughter joined in as well, and she was
was
great.
sneaky.
Yeah, Layla, she was amazing, and also it made me, when I got home, I played it with my son, and he liked it, and he really liked Cockroach Poker. I'm like, I didn't know he liked bluffing games, but
Cockroach Poker is a great game.
yeah,
It's so fun.
yeah. Steve's now saying I've broken the show. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna put this off any longer.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 oaths.
Uh-oh.
The first one was Time Story. This one's been going forever.
Oh my goodness.
This one's been going on forever. Time Stories.
You've broken time.
Lumen Fide. And I haven't done it still, and I don't think it will ever get done. And I have been trying to remove the oath. I'm trying to remove it. I'm trying to go backsies.
No one noticed.
Wait,
don't
what?
worry about it. Yeah, I never played Blackout Hong Kong. I said I'm not playing it.
Oh my goodness.
What are you going to do about it?
You're just not playing it. Okay, cool. Well,
Steve's writing it down. He knows. He knows. I'll play it one day, but man, them instructions are hard, man. That's a hard manual, man. I can't deal with it.
I need to bring some integrity back. I'm going to have to say, this is not how it works. Like, we can fail oaths, but we can't remove them. Come on.
No, I will. I do actually intend to do it. I just...
I think we're just going to have to keep giving you both flack until you do it.
No. Okay. All right. Look, just hear me out for 1 second.
Okay.
The reason why I haven't done it is because Mark and I are obsessed with Pandemic Legacy Season 0. And so it's on pause. We are going to do it. It's just on pause until we've finished Legacy Season 0. Because I can't play this solo, okay? I'd have to play as 4 characters if I played it solo. It's too many.
Oh, mistakes
It's
were
too
made.
many.
You're just going to have to
Mistakes.
cop the flack until you get it done.
Mistakes were made. And I had another oath, and that one I fulfilled.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone take it easy. So that one was the Magnificent. Which was lovely.
I've seen that recently.
Yeah, it's a really good looking game. It's a dice drafting game, and it's kind of one of those ones. It reminded me of Tekkenu in a way, because you only get I think it's 16 turns in the whole game, but it's quite thinky. It's quite crunchy as well. So I really enjoyed it, but I only played it solo, and I really want to play it again with more people. So can I just do that as my oath again, but to play it with more people? That seems like a fair deal.
I don't know. Man, I feel like we're just breaking all sorts of rules tonight.
Trying to find any loophole that I can.
All the kids are out. The parents have gone, so we can just
But
just out of interest.
He's listening to
out of interest, Steve wants to know, out of the 240 hours over the 10 days of your oath, Jules, why couldn't you fit that 3.5 hours in to play that game?
Well, it's not a matter of the time. It's just I haven't had the people over.
Yeah, that's all right. He's on a messaging thing, messaging us, giving us trouble.
Yeah,
but how many of those hours was I sleeping? Come on, you got to take that out.
Well, if that was me, that'd be less than 40.
Yeah,
so
but that's not me. It's a big game, and I need to dedicate literally a whole afternoon to it. And I think I've only had one weekend since I've been on the podcast, and that's when I drove up to Sydney to play with the other guys. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like I want to just add something, because I feel like this lightning bolt's going to come down and hit me otherwise. But I am going to be going to Essen Unplugged here in Canberra, which is basically an event run by a local gaming store, LFG. And they are going to be bringing a whole bunch of games over from Essen that were released. So I've already played one of them, which was Anno 1800. So I can't make that an oath, and that was pretty good. I really liked that. But if I get the opportunity, I don't know who's going to have it or if it will become available in the time that I'm there. But maybe I could swear an oath to play the Wingspan Oceania expansion. Maybe I'll do that.
That doesn't sound like a commitment at all.
You should try see if they've got. Will they have the Quacks Alchemist?
No,
there?
I don't think that's on the list of games they've got lined up, but they do have the Oceania expansion. But I know that's going to be hot for a lot of people wanting to take it. And there's 90 people that will be there. So I may not ever get to actually touch it. So
Yeah,
it's hard to swear when I can't control who's got the game.
Well,
so
that's going to be a hot little
The
potato.
Overlord says that that's okay.
okay.
Just so you know, he says Jules playing Wingspan. Sign him up.
All right. Well, I'll definitely give it my best shot. So, yeah. I, Jules Watson, swear if the opportunity arises, I will drop whatever game I'm playing and play the Wingspan Oceania expansion. I really do want to have a look at it. It looks fantastic. So that's what I'm going to do on top of playing Feudum.
Gotta love those Aussie birds for sure.
Oh, yeah. Except in spring.
Except in spring when they want to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Adrian, you actually need to swear an oath.
Adrian's like,
mine
no.
is the somber side. I'm going to play
but
somber
you've got to
side
double
still.
down, man.
Double down?
Yeah, you do.
I'm just trying to think of any
Actually,
games.
Sarah,
that I've
what are
got
you
recently.
swearing to play next?
I swore to play the Magnificent again, but with more people.
I
Instead of
don't know
just
how
solo.
I feel about this.
You want me to choose something else?
Whatever. We're running late already, so it is what it is. But Adrian, what are you going to swear? What are you going to double down on?
I'm just trying to think of what I have that's arrived.
Or something you haven't played for ages.
Or I'm trying to think, and my shelf is like not coming into my brain.
Jules's copy of Black Rose Wars.
Yeah, I'll play Black Rose
No,
Wars.
don't touch
That's
that.
a great idea. That's a great idea. I'll just play that if I have to do
Don't
it.
you dare.
That's what I'll play. Well done, Sarah. You're a
I need to
You're
do an
welcome.
unboxing video for that.
yeah. It's okay. I won't play that much. Man, I without having to go look at my shelf, I won't be able to tell you. My brain is like drawn a complete blank.
Some
So I know that I'm doing very similar to you. I want to play the Wingspan Oceania.
Mhm.
I have it.
Okay.
I just haven't got round to sorting it out. So,
Okay.
but yeah, that could be potentially happening. So,
A little birdie's whispering terraforming Mars.
oh yeah, that's a good one. I'll do that.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
There we go.
Steve. Yeah. Because actually, MJ brought that up the other day about playing that.
There you
so,
go. Double down with terraforming Mars.
Yeah, perfect.
Good stuff, guys. Well, let's see if I can do the Steve and do the massive spiel at the end, shall we?
Oof,
Yeah.
good luck.
So, just a big thanks to you guys for doing this top 10. That was awesome fun. Really, really
That was
good.
great.
And
you.
a big thank you to our sponsor, Advent Games. Go check out the website. I think there's probably some sales that are bound to happen soon. And we've got a competition that has started. We've got a Christmas giveaway, and this is for Australians only, just due to the fact that we won't be able to get it out to our international listeners fast enough. But we just wanted to do something for the community. So the first prize is Cloud City, which is a game that's just come out from
Yes. Phil Walker
Harding. That's the one. And we've got Fort as the second prize and The Crew as the third prize. So all three are fantastic games. So all you have to do is go to the Facebook community, find that post, and you can tag a friend and share the post to get an entry. We're not doing anything like you have to go to the website like in the past, but just sign up and you'll get that game for free at your doorstep. Really, really straightforward. Just follow the instructions there. Join us on our Discord. We've got games going on. We've had a really busy season. Well, Adrian's had a busy season with the BGG at HomeCon, so we're getting some more games going. I'm teaching Vindication tomorrow, actually. So there's a few people signed up. You can learn about my number one all-time game. So
Oh, and I'm hoping to run a War of Whispers this week as well.
there you go.
Oh, wow.
That was
There you go.
mentioned twice in this episode. So there's some fantastic games we're always happy to teach. There's many of our Sizzling members that run games as well. There's always someone to talk to about games. So please, if you haven't already, come join us on Discord because it's a fantastic community. We absolutely love it. And if you want to reach out to us and contact us, you can reach us at podcast@boardgamebarbecue.com if you want to send us an email and have any questions. And yeah, that just about does it for the episode, guys, I reckon. Thanks again.
Wow, you did it, Jules. That was great.
I'm sure I missed something, but oh well.
That's all right. It's only Twitter. It's not important.
Nah, not really.
You can tweet us, you can message us.
Yeah, tweet us for sure.
We're on
That's me and
Instagram.
Sarah that run that, man.
All right, guys. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.